So guys, today we're talking about direct and indirect objects. And this is our grammar English session for this week. Usually, a sentence in English is divided into parts. A sentence in English is divided into subject, verb, object. Sometimes there are sentences that you don't need to mention objects in. You can just use a prepositional phrase, or you can just use an adjective or an adverb or whatever. So many times you don't need an object, but when it is needed to be used, we need to understand that objects are divided into two parts: direct objects and indirect objects. And here is the question: which one is direct and which one is indirect? When to use this and when to use that? A direct object is a sentence or a clause where the person or thing is acted upon by the verb. The subject carries out the action towards the direct object. Mister, I'm sorry, I can't understand. I'll explain it in a very simple way. The direct object is actually where the subject goes and does the action over this object. So the effect is happening over this object directly. That's why it is called direct object. For example, the player threw the ball into the net. Usually, to know if this is the direct object or not, it is answered with what or who after the main verb. How are you, Mr. Waleed? The player threw. Put after the verb what? Throw what? The answer will be the direct object. So the player threw the ball. The player threw what? The ball. So the ball is a direct object. Easily. You just use the question article what. So first of all, we have a subject. Let's define the elements. We have the subject, the player. We have throw, the verb, and we have the ball, the object. Into the net, this is a prepositional phrase. So prepositional phrase is just a complement. It completes the sentence. So till this point, I guess it's very simple and easy. We can relate that the player had the effect over the ball directly. What was the effect? He threw it. That was the action. So as he says here down, what happened to the ball in the sentence? The player threw it. So the ball is the direct object of the sentence. I want you to read the sentence again, please. Another sample. She thanked Ben profusely for his present. Now, let's divide the sentence. She is what? Yes, subject. Thanked is verb, the main verb, exactly. Ben, okay, wait, don't complete, wait. Now, you have to put after thanked what? Yes, I hear you, the question article what? So she thanked. But Mister, what if the object was a human? Let's ask with who. So I can add she thanked who or she thanked what. She thanked what? We have nothing to thank as what, because usually we thank humans. So we will ask with who. She thanked who? Ben. So Ben is the direct object. Profusely is an adverb. For his present is a prepositional phrase. And the whole thing of profusely and his present is a complement to complete the rest of the sentence. You got this point? Okay. What happened to Ben in this sentence? She thanked him. So Ben is the object of the thanking. So she's the doer, the subject, had the action of thanking over Ben. She thanked him. So Ben is the object of the thanking and is therefore the object of the sentence. Just as there may be two or more subjects in a sentence or clause, making up a compound subject. Similarly, there may also be a compound object. Oh, how come, Mr. Waleed? Don't you remember that sometimes we have many subjects in one sentence? Also, we can have the same. For example, the headmaster greeted the parents and the students of the school. So who is the direct object here? Think of it. Yes, as it is written, the compound object here of the sentence is the parents and the students. It's easy. It's like when you start with a compound subject, when you say, Ahmed and Ali went to school. So this is a compound subject. The same thing happens as compound objects. Now, what I need you to do, or what I want you to do, try and write a sentence that simply has a direct object. Try and write now a sentence that has a direct object. You have 1 minute of thinking and writing. Okay, here we have a nice sample sent by you. The student passed the exam. The student, the subject, passed the verb. The exam is the object, a direct object. I shot the ball in the goal. Great one as well. She played football with her friends. Great. Now this sentence includes 4 parts: verb, subject, verb, object, and prepositional phrase. Nice. The student was excited for vacation. The student is the subject, was the verb, excited. Okay, now this is, yeah, but here I guess I don't have a main object. Yes, I mean this sentence, we don't have a main object. The student was, okay. This is a state. This is an adjective or an adverb. That's an adverb. Excited is an adverb here. And for vacation is a prepositional phrase. So there is no action. So you have to change, okay? Myrna, she threw her game away. Great, her game is thrown away. So her game is the direct object. Damien hates raisins. Nice. I ran over the box. Great. The boy played football. Nice one. Football has to be merged together as one word, not 2 words. I exploded a house. Why? That is very dangerous. Okay, I exploded a house. Make sure that the I is written capitalized, Mahmoud and Adam. Okay, all these sentences are perfect. Now let's go and complete. I wanted to buy some chairs, a table, 2 armchairs, and a wardrobe. Thank you, Yasmin. That's a great one. I made a few calls. She killed her husband. That's enough, guys. Please don't send any more. The compound object of this sentence is the parents and students. We did it. I wanted to buy some chairs, a table, 2 armchairs, and a wardrobe. In this sentence, let's try to find where is the subject and verb and these things. I is the subject. Wanted, that's the main verb. To, that's preposition. By is the by, you can say, is a prepositional also phrase. Some chairs, a table, 2 armchairs, and a wardrobe. Here, this is a compound object. All of them, chairs to wardrobe, these are all compound objects. These are all combined objects. Next. In this sentence, the compound object is some chairs, table, 2 armchairs, and a wardrobe. Every sentence has to have a subject, but not every sentence has an object. As the sentence that Yasmin said, for example, earlier, this one didn't have an object. So it's not necessarily that you need an object for every single sentence. It's based on your need, if I need to add or not. For example, like the sentence here, the bells rang out over the valley. The bells rang out over the valley. Over the valley is a prepositional phrase. We don't really consider it as an object because the action didn't fall on someone or something. In this sentence, a verb rang out does not act upon any object. Like there is no piece of action that happens. It is called an intransitive verb. Intransitive verb. So intransitive verb, it's the verb that doesn't have an action over anything. Again, that's really important to be understood, guys. Kind of verbs, we have intransitive and transitive. Intransitive verbs, they are verbs that don't have action over anything. There is no action that can happen on an object or something. And then if you don't have an action, you won't have an object. Like when you say, I was interested. I was interested, was is intransitive verb. Was is intransitive verb. It doesn't have main action that falls on something. That's why I didn't complete with an object, I completed with an adjective. Same thing applied to this sentence. The bells rang out over the valley. And the same thing applied to the sentence that Yasmin said. When she said, I guess she said she was excited. Let's check it up here in the, you can check it up in the chat box. Yeah, the student was excited for vacation. The student was excited. I'm gonna send it back to you all. The student is the subject, was is the main verb, and it's intransitive. It's intransitive verb that doesn't take an object and there is no specific action that falls. So what is the rest of the sentence? It will be a complement. A complement can be anything. A complement can be an adverb, a subject, an adjective, a prepositional phrase, whatever. On the other hand, we have a transitive verb, which is the one that takes a direct object. It is the one that has action. Like I hit, he played, she thought. No, thought is intransitive. Thank, play, drink, eat. All these are transitive verbs because these are verbs that have actions that are being done. Do you recall this point? Do you really understand this point? So just to confirm again, intransitive verbs, they are verbs that actually don't have action and thus they don't use an object. A transitive verb, they are verbs that have actions and thus they need a direct object. Now let's go to the indirect objects. Indirect objects of a sentence is affected by the action of the verb, but is not the person or thing that is directly acted upon. For example, when you say, she paid him the money. She paid him the money. Let's try to divide the sentence. She is the subject. Paid is the main verb. Now put what after paid. She paid what? She paid the money. So what about him? She paid the money. Ask another question. To or whom? You'll say him. Him is the indirect object. So this sentence has two objects, but one is direct, one that really goes directly from the verb to it. And there is another one that is affected with the verb, which is him. So in this sentence, it is the money that is acted upon and him that is affected by the payment of the money. That makes him the indirect object. Another one. The next morning, the club sold fans the tickets for the final. Forget about the next morning. That's a prepositional phrase. The club is the subject. What happened? The club sold. That is the main verb. This is transitive verb because it has an object. Sold what? The tickets. So the tickets is the direct object. Ask another one. To whom? To the fans. So the fans is indirect. Do you really understand this one? I guess it's very simple. Okay, the coming example is somehow easier. I did give it to him. Now read carefully. I did give it to him. I did give is all considered a verb because I did give, it means I gave. But usually in English, sometimes to make the sentence more confirmed or to make sure that you are confirming and you are sure of what you say, you don't say I gave, you say I did give. It means I am sure. Just an oral language, it's okay. So I did give is the verb. It to him. So usually I'll put what after give. I did give what? It. So it is the direct object. To him. To him is what? The indirect object. Yes. That is very simple. Lastly, I gave to him the money. I gave to him the money. In this sentence, it is the direct object and him is the indirect object. However, you will have noticed that the preposition is often omitted at the first sentence, but down it is put. So it's easy to put the preposition or no. It doesn't make a problem. You can put to or no. You can say I gave him the money, or I gave to him the money, or I gave the money to him. Anyone works well, since you can understand the sentence. Now it is the time to practice and answer some questions. So get ready. Time for questions and answers. Starting point. Pick out the objects in the following slogans. Where are the objects? Let's start with A. Drink a pint of milk a day. Drink a pint of milk a day. Where is the object in this sentence? That is correct, as you thought of. Milk. That's right. Next, B. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Where is the, but in this sentence, I need you to start, and no, you see, that is wrong. Wrong. You have to think of the subject and verb and then find the object. Usually, it's easy to identify the object, like in question A, because this is an imperative. It's order. Orders usually don't have subjects. They usually have objects. That's why it was correct. But B is a complete clause. It has a subject, verb, and object. So if you think of it, an apple a day keeps. What keeps? The apple. So the apple here is the subject. Keeps what? The doctor. So the doctor is the object. Again, the subject is the one who does the action. So who keeps the apple? Keeps what? The doctor. So the doctor is the object. Wake up. Letter C. Buy one today. Usually, this is imperative again. That's order. And in orders, it's very easy to identify. It's one, just one. Your country needs you. Your country needs you. Who's the object here? Very simple. Who needs your country? Your country is the subject, needs is the verb, you is the object. See, that's a piece of cake. Going down a little bit, you're not going to answer it all. I'm just going to do part of it, and the rest is going to be your homework. So pick out the direct and the indirect objects in the following sentences. She addressed her remarks directly to him. This sentence has both direct and indirect. Usually, how are we going to do it? We are going to divide the sentence and define each element. She is the subject. Addressed is the main verb. After the main verb, we add what? What? The question article, what? Correct. So she addressed what? Her remarks. Great. After the direct object, ask with to whom? To him. So her remarks is the direct, to him is the indirect. B, the doctor told the parents the bad news. The doctor told the parents the bad news. The doctor is the subject. Told is the main verb. Told who or told what? Told who is told the parents. So the parents is the direct object. Told them what? The bad news. So the bad news is the indirect. The last sentence, the waitress served her customers with the meal as usual. The waitress served her customers with the meal as usual. So the waitress is the subject. Served is the main verb. Served who? Her customers, that's the direct one. With the meal is the indirect object. Okay, this part till here, I guess we are done with the session. We had the lesson done. We had some exercises answered, and it will be your time to complete them at home. And as usual, everything is going to be on LMS. You can find it, print it, put it into your binder, answer the questions, and send them back on LMS. Thank you for your active listening for the lesson.